Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 7th, 2021 meeting via Zoom for Long Beach City College Personnel Commission. We thank you for joining us this evening. If we could please have, Jennifer, have you led us in the pledge lately? Could you lead us in the pledge if you don't mind?
Everybody please rise.
Thank you.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Jennifer. Jeff, thank you for letting us use your flag as always. We appreciate that. Roll call this evening. Jeff, are you there?
I am here.
Awesome. And Robin, are you there?
Here. I am here.
Excellent.
Present.
And I'm also here. We are all here this evening, so thank you. Public comments for this evening. Juliet, do we have any public comments for this evening?
No comments submitted to me.
Thank you, Juliet. On to approval of the minutes. May I have a motion, please?
A motion? Make a motion?
Second.
Thank you. And is there any discussion on the minutes from the last meeting? Hearing and seeing none, I'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. That passes unanimously. On to new business. Approval of advanced salary placement. This is for construction project manager. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
I will second it.
Thank you. And Jennifer, can you give us an update on what we're looking at here?
Sure, the minimum qualifications for this role are a BA plus 6 years. The candidate comes to us with over 10 years of experience. They also have been working for the district as an LTE since 2019, in this capacity. So we recommend a step 2 placement for that reason.
Thank you, Jennifer. Robert, Donna, did you want to weigh in on this? Are you comfortable with this decision-making process?
Yeah, he's been doing a great job for the district. I see no reason not to continue.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm
Donna?
okay. Yeah, I'm okay with it too.
Okay. And
Okay.
Robin, Jeff, did you have any comments on this?
I did not.
None.
Okay. Anyone that I missed? Hearing and seeing none, we'll go ahead and take a roll call. Jeff?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. That passes unanimously. On to B, which is approval of eligibility list. This is for child care assistant. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
And is there any discussion on this item? Or Jennifer, if you wanted to add anything?
Sure, just sharing some of the statistics. We received 38 applications. From there, 5 candidates were qualified and participated in an oral panel interview. 5 were placed on the eligibility list, and of the 5, 1 was an internal applicant.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any additional discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none. Jeff?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. That passes unanimously. On to C, which is approval of the eligibility list for Deputy Director, Finance and Accounting. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
And is there any discussion on this item, or Jennifer, did you have an update for us?
Yes, I mean, this is a very important role in our district, especially with year-end financial timelines on the horizon. And Fiscal Services has just been very proactive in communicating with HR their hiring needs in anticipation of the SERP. So I wanted to give a special thank you to John Thompson and Cindy Baker for their work on this recruitment, partnering with HR. We did receive 13 applications, 13 candidates qualified and were invited to the interviews. 7 were placed on the eligibility list, and of the 7, 2 are internal applicants.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Any additional comments on this? I have a question, Jennifer, that has nothing to do with this specific one, but what I was noticing, and I think the reason I noticed it was because Asian American and Pacific Islander month just occurred. And then I was wondering why we segregate Filipino separately as a category, or if you happen to know. I was wondering how the categories are determined. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I'm just curious.
I believe that's the way the options are in our NeoGov database during the application process, but I can look into that further and see what the reason for that is.
I just asked that because I wonder if this is an old category separation, and I'm not calling out the Filipino specifically. I'm just wondering if the way that we categorize still makes sense, or if it's something that we did, 15, 20 years ago, and if it maybe needed to be updated. And this is probably a much bigger question than, our particular circumstance, but, probably a national or at least regional question of what makes sense for the categories. So I just want to put that out there. It's not something we have to discuss or anything right now, but it was just something that kind of stood out to me. And then again, I think it was probably just because it was Asian American Pacific Islander month. And then it kind of brought it to my forefront. And I went, oh, I wonder why we segregate the Filipino out from that.
It's a really good question. I believe it corresponds with our diversity report statistics, but we can look into it and report back at the next.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any comments? Hearing and seeing none. Jeff?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye, and that passes unanimously. We're on C, correct? We're going on to C, right?
D.
D, sorry,
2D.
we're going into D. Approval of eligibility list. This is for director also for financial aid. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Thank you. And is there any discussion? Jennifer, did you have anything you wanted to add on the deputy or on the director for financial aid?
Another critical role in our organization, overseeing financial aid advisors, specialists at both campuses, LAC, PCC, accounting technician, BSA 2, a business systems analyst 4. So really a wide span of control. And so we had 15 applications received, 10 candidates were deemed qualified to move on, and 8 were placed on the eligibility list with 2 internal applicants.
Thank you. Any discussion about this item? Hearing and seeing none. Jeff?
I vote aye.
And Robin?
I vote aye as well.
I vote aye as well, and that passes unanimously. Thank you. On to item E, approval of extension of working out of class. This is for David Mendoza. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
And Jennifer, did you have an update on this?
We're extending the temporary supervisor 1. It's just to help redistribute one of the other supervisors, 15 direct reports amongst 3 supervisors, since custodial trainings are currently occurring. So it helps with the workload.
Okay, thank you. Robert or Donna, did you have any comments on this one? Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I know David personally is a longtime college employee. He's been great for the college. I heard he's doing an outstanding job in his position, and I hope it continues as long as possible.
Wonderful, good to hear.
I'll defer
Donna,
to, I'll defer to Robert's knowledge of him. I'm sorry, I don't have knowledge, so.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Anyone else have any comments? Jeff, Robin, anything from you?
I actually have a question.
Go for it.
My question is, since we have him working out of classification in that position, do we need another supervisory position? Is that the issue?
I can answer some of it. Right
Please.
now they're doing, my understanding is they're trying to cover a lot of space and training. And David's been instrumental in helping them through this time when they're trying to be more specific with COVID and training, through having more someone around to shift people quicker to, help the department cope with what's going on right now. And they're trying to keep it for as long as possible so they can do the best job possible for the district.
Robert, thank you. This makes perfect sense. With the increase in safety protocols because of COVID, that makes perfect sense. Thank you so much for the explanation. I appreciate it.
We
That was my
appreciate
only
that
comment.
insight, Robert.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments on this item? Hearing and seeing none. Jeff?
I vote aye.
Robin?
Aye.
I vote aye. That passes unanimously. On to F, approval of the extension of working out of class. This is for Karen Parvinen. I'm probably saying that. I'm sorry. I apologize, Karen.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And are there any comments on this? Jennifer, how much did I butcher her name?
I think you did a better job than I can do, Janine.
Oh, okay.
I should have asked for the proper pronunciation of that name. We have currently several recruitments going in fiscal services. So as you see, we're just asking for a little bit more time. The current incumbent, Karen, she's doing 50% of the duty. So until they can complete the senior accounting technician, which is now currently happening, today was day 1 of interviews and tomorrow's day 2. We anticipate being able to bring this eligibility list to the next PC meeting on the 21st, I believe.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any other comments or questions on this item? Hearing and seeing none. Jeff?
Vote aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That passes unanimously. Our next meeting is Monday, June 21st, 2021. That's going to be at 5 o'clock via Zoom. On to closing items. This is
Janine, sorry.
I'm so sorry. We have one more item, 2G.
What did I screw up here?
Item 2G.
I am so sorry.
It's hiding. I missed it too, Janine. It's hiding.
Thank you, Robin. Thanks. I am trying to navigate 2 systems here and hit things wrong. Thank you so much, Jennifer. G is approval extension of working out of class. This is for Mylan Perlis. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. And is there any comments on this? Pat, are you here for this one?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Good evening, commissioners. And thank you again for your time and support. So Mylan is basically my right-hand person and has been integral in helping us really expand and be able to manage all 3 of the economic development programs. And this has been especially important through COVID. And she's been working out of class for a while, and we do intend to go into recruitment, although that really wasn't feasible during, sort of the COVID expansion, the extreme sort of change in our operations that occurred. And I'm also trying to time this so we're not doing it when, we're trying to replace all the CERT positions and everything, as we've seen through this. So I do intend for this to be a permanent position, but for now I'm asking to get a little bit of time for that.
Thank you, Pat. We appreciate that explanation. Anyone have any questions or comments on this? Robert, Donna, Jeff, Robin?
No, I'm good.
Everybody's good? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Jeff?
I vote aye.
Robin?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That passes unanimously. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Jennifer, for making sure I stay on track here. Again, the information items we have next meeting will be Monday, June 21st, 2021, 5 p.m. via Zoom. And closing items, comments from the staff. Jennifer, would you like to share with us this evening?
Sure, Janine, thank you. The first update I have is related to CERP. I know that a lot of people are curious about the numbers, so I thought I'd throw out the numbers of the final applications that were submitted. On the academic side, the target number was 15. We did receive 25 retirees. On the classified side, we received 35 packets for the CERP. So the idea is that we have many tenured staff on both the classified and faculty side. And as we fill those positions, and we have tenured staff that have been with us for 25, 30, 35, 40 years on the longevity steps of their salary schedule. So when we recruit for those positions, we'll be able to bring staff in at more of the entry level of the pay ranges. So it does help with cost savings for the district. And just some examples of those who submitted for the CERP, we have a few single incumbent positions. Some examples are deputy accounting and finance, which is why we're running that recruitment. Risk services coordinators, and another example of that. Some divisions are going to be really impacted. One example of that is a reprographics assistant and the reprographics manager. We have some grounds maintenance workers who submitted. Some of the broader classifications that exist in multiple departments are AAAs, academic administrative assistant, So of the 35, there's 4 of those individuals who will be retiring. We have accountant and senior accountants. So again, these broader classifications that exist in multiple departments, even though that number of 35 seems high, we're going to have to run fewer recruitments than 35 recruitments. Still very high volume, so we have been impacted by that workload. And in preparation for the SERP, we did update the exit checklist in collaboration with fiscal services, IITS, business services. We also updated the resignation and retirement form. Also, our AVP, Kristen Olson, for each individual who selected to retire, she sent them an email with clear instructions on what to do next, just to wrap up the process. So a lot of communication happening, and some of our processes being revamped to be able to respond to the SERP.
That's great. Thank you. I know that's a lot of work for you guys. One of the no, go ahead.
I have one question regarding that.
Sure.
When will the list be released of who retired?
Good question. So I know we're working internally. HR and fiscal services have shared that list. Has the list not been provided to AFT yet?
I received the list, but I was asked to wait until they contacted all the people and they'd let me know. So if you could just tell me, I can forward it.
Okay, let me work with Kristen. My understanding is that every candidate, or every employee, I should say, has been contacted who did submit for the SERP. So let me confirm that, and then I'll give you the green light, Robert.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this? Jennifer, as you know, everyone, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. I'm concerned about the quantity of workload that is going to be impacting HR and is currently impacting HR as a result of these high numbers. And I'm concerned about the impact on the classification study. So I just want to make sure that we're all aware of the increased challenges that you guys face, and make sure that we do everything we can to give you the support that you need so that our team is not overburdened.
I will say, Janine, that we were aware of at least 10 to 12 on the classified side in advance. So the number 35 was a little bit shocking, if I can just be honest, but you know, we've been reprioritizing work. We've partnered with some of the hiring managers. We have some, what I would call contingency plans in place. So for example, a few of the departments, for example, Cindy Baker as our deputy fiscal person, she is going to be with us after July 1st, just for cross-training purposes, and because year end needs to be wrapped up, and she has a wealth of experience. So she will remain with the district as an LTE until it's determined that her services are no longer needed. But she will be able to have no break in her systems access. Her employee category will just change from permanent to LTE. So in some cases, we are working with departments to allow LTE staff to remain on board until we can run recruitments and fully respond to what's happening with the SERP.
That's fantastic. Jennifer, is that something that we actually reach out to the individuals, or is that something that is just kind of more piecemeal?
The recruitment doesn't happen automatically, but we have been reaching out to departments and providing them with a list and saying, here's what we're aware of is happening in your department. How would you like to handle these vacancies? Do you want to fill them with an LTE, or do you want to run a recruitment? And then just prioritizing the recruitments based on the role in the organization and how many vacancies we're going to have related to that one classification.
Okay,
so those conversations are happening right now.
Okay, thank you. Did you have anything else for us tonight, Jennifer?
Yes, I have 2 quick presentations. The first one is a short class study update. I just wanted to share, we did shift. We've been sending notifications out on a rolling basis. We did reach closer to 165 notifications sent out. Of those, we have only received 7 appeals, which I'm happy about. And I thought it would be helpful to share just the trends that we're seeing. We set up the appeal process in Microsoft Forms, It's been really easy to manage the responses. Here is the 2 tiers that we've talked about in the past. It's either tier 1, just submitting general feedback on the job description itself. Those are very straightforward and easy, and we've incorporated the suggestions that we've received, a very minor update. So that was 3, as you can see here, 3 of the 7 fell into that tier 1 category. Tier 2 was when an employee was asking to be reconsidered. They either felt they should be allocated to a different classification altogether, or maybe a senior level or the next level in their career ladder. So of those 4 cases, we've been able to resolve 2 of the 4 cases already and talking to the direct supervisor, and we're working on the other 2. So the appeal process has been, thankfully, a very smooth process so far. We realize as we send more of the notifications out, we may see some more variations in the response.
Do you have any idea? I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Do you
I
have
have a
any
couple-
idea how many more potential could come in? Like how many, what's the number so far that we've already passed them? And then now how many more are still outstanding that could come in?
So when we send the notice, the class study notice, we ask employees to complete an acknowledgement form. And in that acknowledgement form, they indicate if they plan to appeal or not. So of the 165, we don't anticipate any more appeals. We've resolved that first batch. But as we send more notifications out, then those employees have 1 week to respond through the appeal process per the
Great.
PC rules.
Okay, perfect.
So the next question that we asked a series of questions, 10 questions as part of the appeal process. The first 6 or so questions are just demographic data. How do we get a hold of you? What's your current classification? Just confirming some details. Question 8 had to do with the categories that were of concern. So did you have concerns with the overall classification as an example? Or do you want us to revisit the title for whatever reason? Are the duties, are there representative duties that are missing or that are not appropriate? In some cases, we increased the minimum qualifications. All existing employees or incumbents were grandfathered, so nobody's being held to a new standard, but do these minimum qualifications make sense long-term? Why or why not? So these were the categories, and then other is another option. You'll see based on the 7 appeals we did receive, here's how they fell into the categories. Concerns with the overall classification, 1 person had feedback on the title, and 3 individuals were concerned with the representative duties. So this just gives you an idea of some of the trends. No concern so far with the minimum qualifications changing. Next slide, please. And then the last question was more of just an acknowledgement. We wanted employees to be really aware. We realize that you're looking at your individual case. Please provide objective rationale, and please be mindful that here are all of the factors that we look at. We don't just look at one thing or 1 or 2 pieces of information. We're looking at your job functions. Do you have budgetary responsibility? Are you supervising or not? And to what extent? Do you have 2 direct reports or 15 direct reports or 25 direct and indirect reports? Very different span of control. How much decision-making power do you have? What knowledge, skills, and abilities do you need to perform your job? And then the services that you're providing, which varies from department to department. So they have to acknowledge this as part of their appeal process in providing objective rationale. And I believe that is the last slide. So I can answer any questions about the appeal process that you may have.
Robin, Jeff, do you have any questions?
No, I appreciate the
Very
update.
thorough.
Yeah. Robert, Donna, what's your perspective on this? Donna, did we lose you? I think we lost you. Robert, what's your perspective?
I'm happy they're rolling out and they're continuing to roll out. I take it even through July. So let's hopefully the next meeting will have a higher percentage turned in.
Fantastic. Any other questions or comments for Jennifer? Anything else for us, Jennifer?
One last thing, and it's very
Okay.
positive. So we're ending on a very positive note. Juliet's going to share her screen. So the chancellor's office, as we all know, we go through a selection process each year for classified employee of the year in May. I realize we're in June, but we just wanted to highlight that for the last 2 years in a row, not only have we selected a classified employee of the year within our campus, but those 2 individuals have been selected at the state level amongst all community colleges. And I believe at the state level, between 5 and 7 individuals are selected. So we hope to have a three-peat next year, no pressure for next year's Employee of the Year, but we just wanted to acknowledge that exciting news. And also, I really want to give a shout out to Juliet because both years she's been really involved in the application process to acknowledge our staff. So thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Congratulations to Aaron Turner. Congratulations to Linda Olmos. And thank you to Juliet for all your assistance on this. This is huge that they can make not only for the college, but for the entire state. That's fantastic. And I'm sure it's extremely well deserved. So congratulations to all of them. Anything else from you, Jennifer? No?
That concludes my report. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Robin and Jeff, do you have anything for us tonight?
Robin?
I actually just have a question. How did, I got an email, but unfortunately I got it too late to respond. But how did your presentation go with the trustees? You were going to, I guess.
I was going to talk about that in just a moment.
Oh, okay. Well,
do you want to go first, Jennifer?
No,
do you want me to give my perspective?
Well, I mean, Murphy's Law, my mic was not working. I was unmuted, I promise, but for some reason they couldn't hear me. And so I had to log off, log back in, but overall, I think it went really well. I gave a very high level update. Apparently Jean had provided similar details while I was trying to get back online. So it went well. It was approved unanimously and we're able to move forward and submit our paperwork to LACO. So successful in the end.
Thank you.
So I watched live and this was the amazing thing to me. Her microphone, like she said, wasn't working and she definitely wasn't muted, but we just couldn't hear her. So she kept a smile on her face the whole time. And I thought, okay, that's really a challenge when you're giving a report to the board. You can't, communicate, but she just kept a smile on her face. Gene stepped up. He did a great job to, just kind of fill in a couple little blank pieces. And then she came back on and she gave a great report. And it looked like it was absolutely seamless. And I just commend both of you because you did such a good job under tremendous pressure. That's really hard when technology isn't working. It's pretty nightmarish. And I really commend your composure in that situation.
Thank you, Janine. I was like, man, I've done a bunch of personnel commission meetings and my mic always works. What's happening?
Yeah, the moment she needed it, it was gone.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that it went well. That's what's most important.
It went beautifully. She did a great job.
And you handled yourself with grace under pressure. So that was good that it happened because it showed the trustees who's doing what. So I'm okay with that.
Yep. Anything else from you, Robin, or from Jeff?
Not at all.
You're good. Jeff, are you good?
I'm curious, what time did you do your presentation for the trustees?
It wasn't that bad. It was like 8, wasn't it?
Wasn't too late. It might have been between 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it wasn't too horrible.
Okay.
Yeah, well, she wasn't on at 10.
That's okay. So no, the only couple things you actually Jennifer touched on it, the fact that Linda this year for the statewide classified employee of the year, that is really an amazing accomplishment reflecting upon the college. So and I know a lot of work you have to have good quality people, but also the hard work to do all the processing it. So a lot of people can take a lot of bows on this one, but Long Beach City College will be very proud to be honored 2 years in a row. I mean, that is really unusual because whether they want to admit it or not, that comes into the whole thought process. Well, last year we honored someone there, so that makes it even more challenging. So, so great job. And then the other thing that I think, which only for the future, and as we're rolling forward, Jean Duran has been hired at up at Santa Rosa Community College District as their new vice president for human resources. That's going to make, once again, another, I know we've had a couple meetings on this, Robin, you and I did when I first came on, about where the institutional knowledge. So I hope everyone keeps taking notes, because Gene will be leaving. I think his first day up there is in July. So, you know, it's unfortunate in many ways. Also rolling into what you said about the people taking advantage of the retirement. A lot of people spend a lot of time looking at when there's movement within a college and reasons why, et cetera. But Gene, we knew, was going to be moving on. He has done so. A little side note, interesting enough, of all places, and I wish Gene the very best. I don't know if we're going to even do anything for him when I say we, the college. But ironically, Gene has a wonderful opportunity in particular, that superintendent president at Santa Rosa College. His name is Frank Chong. Frank Chong is very well respected, a very stable and long-serving superintendent president. And so it gives Gene an opportunity, because in fairness, Gene's tenure at Long Beach City College has been with a interim, a short-term permanent, an interim, and an interim. Mm-hmm. That is not an easy scenario to work in. And so he's now going to a superintendent president who is respected statewide, has a very long serving at Santa Rosa as well as others. And just as a side note, probably because I've got a little bit of a fondness for Frank Chong, he was one of the first people that really helped me when I was first involved with educational facility master planning, and just has nothing to do with Gene, but I just have a lot of respect for Frank. He was the one that, when I first started, he called up the company I was with, and when you're not sure about doing things, he said, and this was when he was president at Laney College, which is part of Peralta, and Laney was the flagship of that 4-college district, and he said to me and to, you know, the owner of the company, I want Jeff at all the meetings, even though I did not have seniority. And it was the first time somebody had really basically given me that confidence of, well, maybe I do know what I'm doing, or maybe I was just a complete idiot and he liked it because I didn't know what I was doing. But I have a tendency, though, Frank is a really strong leader, and I wish Gene the best. I think it's going to be a great fit for him. And there's worse places you can be than Santa Rosa Community College District. So I hope when Gene has something that we're all invited, and I just wish him the best. But that also, at the same time, you know, we lose a little bit of institutional knowledge, as we all know. We're going to be looking at each other now going, what did we do? How do we do that? So, but congratulations to Gene and to the college. And we have our nursing ceremony tomorrow. Graduation looked great, but tomorrow is the nursing, I'm assuming it's virtual as well. One of my all-time favorite ceremonies is always the nursing ones for a lot of reasons. But I think that's tomorrow. But congratulations to everyone. So that's on a real high note for everyone. So good job, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. For my announcements, I just wanted to share that the budget presentation was fantastic, and just kudos to Jennifer and thanks to Gene for stepping in that little bit of time that we needed him for backup, but she did just a tremendous job. So thank you on that, Jennifer, and everyone that helped you prepare that presentation. And I just want to remind everyone that we've got a virtual commencement that's happening this coming Thursday, 6/10 at 5 o'clock on YouTube. And I just want to give a huge shout out to our graduates again, whether they're going into a workplace scenario, whether going on to other campuses to further their education, or if they just wanted to make sure that they got their 2-year degree. I just congratulate all of them for their success and making it through Long Beach City College, and we'll just welcome them and to the success that I know that they're going to be having in the future. With that, we've got one more, and that is for public comments. Do we have any public comments for this evening? Juliet, or do we have Robert or Pat? Dario, do you want to say anything tonight?
I'll say something quick.
Okay, go for it, Robert.
For graduation, I again want to thank and support people to attend the virtual graduation. That's it's a culmination of a really tough year for the college.
Yep.
You know, we all pulled together, classified faculty and administration to make this work for our students. And that's really what it's all about. Everyone took the extra time and effort to be, you know, help out and do what they can for these students. And now we have a great graduation, and then looks like we're slowly coming back to work. So thanks everyone for everything you're doing to make this the greatest college on the state.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Anyone else on public comments for this evening? Okay, with that, we are going to recess to closed session just for anyone who may be curious, or I don't like to waste people's time. There's virtually no possibility that we're going to be coming back with any kind of report. So if you want to go have your dinner right now, please don't feel like you're going to miss something when we do come back. I don't know how long we'll be in closed session. So with that, we will go ahead and go out to closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, and we will be looking at a personnel matter. So Dario, if you could help us into our room, we'd appreciate it.
Beam us aboard, Mario. Come on, let's go, Mario. this award.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to reconvene open session and call the meeting back to order. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.8, we had no action items taken this evening. And with that, I would like to adjourn unless someone else has something to say.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you.
See you in-
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Good night.
you.